Hey guys, welcome back to Sports with Mono and Mono. I'm Jim. I'm here with my partner Steve.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. How
Yep,
you doing, Jimbo?
doing okay. Doing okay. Let's jump right into the fray. Our first segment, the NFL, is sponsored by Coriano Trucking, Haverstraw, New York, and loyal supporter of the show.
Always.
So let's jump right into it. What was your takeaway of the biggest story yesterday in the NFL? Eli's last home game.
You know what, Jim? I think I might divert here. I'm going to go with the biggest story of the week.
Go ahead.
Garrett Cole signing with the New York Yankees for 9 years and $347 million. What do you think of that?
Well, listen, I think it was as soon as I saw that picture of him, at a 10-year-old at Yankee Stadium, I'm a Yankee fan for life kind of thing.
Yep.
That's when I started to realize he was coming. Did I know he was going to get that kind of money? No, I knew he was going to get the most money you could get. The guy's a stud. He's a good kid. I think it's a great signing. Makes the Yanks the favorite, I guess, right?
Well, that's all the intent and purposes. I think when we did our last podcast, Strasburg signed probably right before our last podcast last week.
Right, and guys like Wheeler sign, they're getting
Strasburg
ridiculous money
broke
too.
the bank at 245, and then a couple days later, Garrett Cole.
Right.
Right? So I got to give the Yankees credit. And also, if you listen to our last sport podcast, I think I said, in fact, I know I said, I thought Garrett Cole was going to be
California Angel.
the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Always the California Angels, of course.
But when I saw it and I said, if you and I had a chance to sign with the Angels or the Yankees, who would we pick?
Right.
Pretty much, I think I'd take the Yankees.
Well, I think anybody would for 347.
No, but California Angels were giving them way more than that.
Well,
whatever he wanted.
Obviously, they fell short because the Yankees.
Do you think he fell short because of money, or they just knew he wanted to go to New York?
Yeah, I think it's 9 years and $347 million.
He would have got that by the L.A. Angels too, though. Anaheim Angels.
Right. So here's my point. Again, we talked about Garrett Cole. Yankees drafted this kid out of UCLA, right? And then they tried to re-sign him a couple years ago, and then he went to Houston. But to your point, he's a Yankee fan. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to think more what the Yankees are thinking about. And let's be real. They haven't gone after a number one starter in the free agent market and trade deadlines. And that's been, Brian Cashman getting his balls broke, right? And it's not like Hal Steinbrenner is not willing to dish out the money.
No, money's not an object for these
But
guys.
the New York Yankees are about what? Winning what?
Championships.
Thank you. Okay? So the fact of the matter is, if that's the market, it is what it is. So when you look at the money...
The money doesn't faze me anymore, to be quite honest
Well,
with you.
thank you, because that's exactly what I was leading to.
I mean, that's a lot of money they're paying him, but it's not Mike Trout money, right? I mean,
It's not Sports with Mono and Mono money, because I'm telling you right now, that $14 beer, of course, will be $17. Parking, that was $50, will be $53.
which will keep me away from Yankee Stadium as the average American fan in the metropolitan area.
Right. But my
cost
point,
prohibitive.
Right, so here's another point I wanted to bring up. So remember George Steinbrenner, we all do, of course. So when they signed Reggie Jackson, they signed Catfish, they signed Andy Messersmith,
who tripped over first base and his contract went.
Steve Kemp, and on and on.
Ed Whitson, do we keep going on?
But George Steinbrenner was famous for no New York Yankee is going to make $2 million ever, right? And I will say I heard that on a competitor show, and they were talking about Don Mattingly actually. So when Donnie Baseball was at the height of his you know.
He was the best player in the game for a couple of years, no doubt.
Donnie Baseball was quite good.
Right?
But that's when Steinbrenner said, no, New York Yankees going to make $2 million. And, of course, Don Mattingly was well deserving of that.
Of course.
But you know what Don Mattingly did as a Yankee fan and to keep the peace? He went to arbitration. Guess what happened? 1.95
9999. Right, yeah.
Right. But he settled for it.
All right, well, listen.
But the only reason I bring that up is, all right, we remember Donnie Baseball, and we're talking late 80s to what? Early 90s. Yeah. And here we are in 2019.
Left the Yankees the year before they won the World Series, and you know.
And Garrett Cole is making this kind of money. Okay. And I'm not begrudging Garrett Cole one iota, okay? It's what was needed. He's a number one starter. He's 29 years old.
And they want to win a championship.
So when you break down the math,
it's ludicrous. But it doesn't faze me anymore.
He's making basically.
It doesn't faze me.
He's basically making $1 million a start.
Right.
And he's making $10,000.
And he works,
per pitch.
He works every 5 days.
Works every 5 days.
Gets 6 months off.
Gets a massage within the 4 or 5
All right.
days.
Well, we got that. So there's a lot going on with.
Yeah, but I thought we would lead with the show because I think that was the most prominent story.
And I know, but we lead it with baseball a few weeks ago, and one of our fans said, "Wait, it's not baseball season anymore.
Yeah,
it's
but
football."
No,
but it's a newsworthy story, and we were going to get to that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So if we're going to stay on baseball, let's just stay on baseball, then we'll segue to the NFL. So another major signing was our boy Anthony Rendon,
who I thought was going to be the MVP. Came in third,
which was a little surprising.
But you think he's a $20-some-odd million a year player? I mean,
well, he only signed for like what, $275 over.
Agreed, but have we heard of Anthony Rendon in this kind of realm in 3 years ago? Not me.
Hey, you got to be.
Not me.
Right place, right time, and Anthony Rendon.
Oh no, I don't begrudge him that at all. But I'm saying 4 years ago, or 3 or 4 years ago, I didn't know anything about him.
Never heard of him.
Right, so.
But
he's a good player.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers got a real good player there. So those are really the two major signings, and then what broke today was Madison Bumgarner.
Yeah, he got didn't get the money I bet he was hoping for. Not ridiculous Garrett Cole money.
Not at all.
No.
But Bumgarner signs with the Arizona Diamondbacks, 5 years, and a lot of millions later. So Madison Bumgarner is out of San Francisco,
he's a good player.
Heading to the Diamondbacks, and I just want to bring that up. Hot stove. It was real hot this week, but I thought we'd lead with Garrett Cole.
Yeah,
if you have any comments on this signing, sports with mono and mono at gmail.com. Always appreciate the feedback.
Excellent. But I wanted to make a correction because you said that Rendon signed with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Signed with the Angels.
My apologies, yeah.
No, it's not all right. We just want to
all these LA things, yes.
There's a lot of money apparently in Los Angeles. Right. I mean, they're throwing money around like crazy.
No, we talked about Cole with the Angels, so my apologies, yes. He signed with the LA Dodgers for 7 years and a lot of dough. And they got a good players. So.
Yep.
And again, the Dodgers haven't won the World Series since 1988, so...
They're due, and they've been there 2 years in a row and came up short.
That's right.
That's right. All right, so Steve, let's move on. Let's talk about the NFL, because there was a lot of things. And throw a couple of things out that we'd like to talk about. But, we're New York guys, so the big news was, Eli Manning getting the game ball, his last win kind of thing, last home win as a starting quarterback for the Giants. Beat the Dolphins, which I don't know if that's a major accomplishment or not.
It is, because I took the Dolphins.
So did I. But listen, the guy's been a career New York Giant. We've liked him. Steve and I were talking. There's a lot of topic about Hall of Fame. He's a 500 lifetime winning quarterback. Yeah, but the guy was durable.
How 500, Jim?
Exactly 500.
117 and 117.
Right.
Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Why?
Well, that's the question that a lot of people, and you know what? I actually listened to some people and said, yeah, 500 record, Hall of Fame. But I can't take away these 2 Super Bowls. I mean, at times he looked great, and at times he didn't. You know, but so does Philip Rivers, and he's going to the Hall of Fame. Ben Roethlisberger, he's going to the Hall of Fame.
And
I don't know.
How many rings does Ben and Eli have and Philip? More than Philip?
2 more than Philip.
That's exactly right.
But anyway, what's your
4 to
thought?
5.
Hall of Fame, not Hall of Fame? First ballot?
No, listen, I was watching a Giant game yesterday with a buddy. And Eli Manning Hall of Fame. I go, absolutely. Right? Durability, 17 years?
200 plus games, never missed a game.
Right. Now, listen, have I seen the good and the bad of Eli?
Oh, we've
boy,
seen the bright and the dark side. Of course we have.
But the fact of the matter is 2 Super Bowls, lights out, meaning big throws in those Super Bowls. Career record, 117 and 117. And Eli struggled. You know, we've talked about this on the show and even amongst our peers. Eli looked like a complete bust. Year 1, year 2, etc.
You know, I don't give credibility to year 1 for any quarterback. They deserve to get beat up.
True, but year 2 is also
okay. So it took him an extra year. It took off 2 years to be a good quarterback.
I'm just giving you a revisionist history here.
I got you.
But at the end of the day,
Yep.
is Eli a Hall of Famer? No question.
Absolutely.
No question.
All right. So,
but I was happy that he got his final home game. Right? He had 3 picks. I mean, he went 20 for 28 for like 237, something like
but
that.
his picks look like what we've kind of, I don't want to say grown accustomed to.
Are they Hall of Fame picks? That's
No.
the debate,
No.
really. That's when people look at him and go, what, are you kidding me?
Right.
But, Eli also played after our last show we did last Monday in Philadelphia. Did okay in the first quarter, but at the end of the day, the Eagles came back to win, and that's why I brought that up. I want to segue to the NFC East and the Dallas Cowboys and what's coming down the pike on Sunday. So,
All right. Well, listen, I took the Cowboys this week because I've been listening to you guys.
I took the Rams.
And I like the Rams, but I mean, when we say the Cowboys needed last week's game, they did. Did they desperately need this week's game? Yeah, they did. And they showed up.
Last week, too, though.
But that's what I said. But this one was your home. It must be their 14th home game. Every time the Cowboys are on their home, and they wore their blue jerseys.
Right.
How do you explain that?
Well, it's 8-8. They got 8 home games. And
I know that. No, wearing the blue jerseys at home?
Of course. We talked about the Hex in the past, about the Dallas Cowboys wearing their blues. And that's been a old wives' tale for a long time.
All right, so they broke that hex yesterday.
Right. But listen, they showed up, and full disclosure, I took the Rams because the Cowboys couldn't get out of their way. And I tell you what, they came up, and they, Elliott did 120, 2 touchdowns, Prescott, big catches, throws, and Jason Witten had a real nice catch, though.
But you're right, and they ate Jared Goff for lunch yesterday.
And I tell you what,
they ate him for lunch. And I listen,
you and I
like the guy.
We're
but
going on record right now. We were as happy about Jared Goff's development, but I'll tell you what,
this was a setback year.
A big setback. Year.
Okay, I'm not ready to throw him in the garbage can, but
it's trending. I'm not saying trending. It is.
I know this is you, and Mitch Wilson of Pick Dogs feel the same way. I'm not throwing him into the trash heap yet.
I'm not either, but he's got.
But the Rams are not the team they were last year.
The Rams are done.
But here's a team that was very surprising to me. I took Pittsburgh yesterday and the Buffalo Bills. I told you I really like this guy Josh Allen. They have a very good defense, and they went into Pittsburgh and won.
They did.
And they clinched the playoff spot.
Listen, they did.
Listen, Buffalo Bills fans are starving for something to do after Week 16.
Yeah.
And they're going to get one, at least, right?
Well, I'll tell you this. I got crushed yesterday. I won a parlay on a 3-team thing. But outside of that, just about every game I got wrong. And this game, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Buffalo Bills, I took the Steelers at home.
So did I. It was a pick'em game. So, I mean, it was,
Right.
we weren't giving points away and stuff like that.
But you can pencil the Buffalo Bills in for the playoffs. So
Right, and probably an early exit, because, they're going to have to play.
most likely. But the fact of the matter is, they showed up to play.
Oh, no, I tell you, I like Josh Allen a lot. I
Yeah.
really do.
Again, of that draft class, Lamar Jackson, I think, is probably cemented the MVP.
I think we know that already, and they're
Well,
talking
we talked
about.
about Russell Wilson as being the other only threat, and we love Russell Wilson. We've said that a million times.
But to see, a guy, over 1,000 yards as a quarterback, and he's thrown 5 touchdown passes in 4 different games. I mean, he's the MVP.
Yeah.
And they are tough on both sides of the ball. But we're not going to throw away the Patriots yet. You're going to have to. This way, the Patriots may have to go on the road, to play this game.
Well,
They like being at home.
As
in the
of now,
playoffs.
Baltimore is holding, a game lead over
Yeah.
the Patriots for home field advantage. And the only way you beat New England is on the road.
Yep.
So what they love, obviously, is that bye week and a first-round home game. And
Yeah.
then before you know it, they're in the championship game. And normally it's in New England. And normally there's a snow plow. John Smith kicking the field goal.
Yeah.
Or the tuck rule.
Tuck
with,
rule, of course, and this another snowstorm.
against the Raiders and
Right.
that type of thing.
So we'll see. But what was a surprise game for me yesterday was the Falcons. We were talking about these guys 6 weeks ago. Like, they were horrific. With a lot of talent, too, which was inexplicable.
Did I
And
mention
then Matt
that I
Ryan.
got beat yesterday on just about every game? And that you segue. So the Falcons go to the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
Would any other logical fan take the
Of
Atlanta
course not.
Falcons?
But I had a discussion with somebody today about, like I said, this guy Matt Ryan just passed 50,000 yards. Very elite club, right? Only 7 members, right?
Yeah, exclusive. They'll give you that.
And somebody says, really? Matt Ryan's got 50,000 yards? I go, yeah, this guy was good. Took him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Didn't get it done, but great player. He's on his way out, and we know that. He's
I
up
have
there.
a question for you.
Talk to me.
Matt Ryan. Did
Yeah.
they deduct from the 50,000 yards the biggest sack in Super Bowl history to cause losing a Super Bowl, the Atlanta Falcons, New England Patriots? If Matt Ryan doesn't take that sack, remember, the Falcons were up.
Of course, I remember. But
Okay.
do I want to hang him for one play?
So when
No.
your next question is going to be Matt Ryan, Hall of Fame, throwing 50,000 yards.
He's going to the Hall of Fame.
Is he?
Absolutely.
Really?
Not in his first year, but he's going to the Hall of Fame.
Okay. And how many rings does Matt Ryan have?
How many rings does Dan Marino have?
I will never compare Matt Ryan to Dan Marino.
You took it out of context here.
Okay.
I'm telling
Well,
you,
that's-
Dan has no rings either.
I know that.
So
Let's talk about it.
And we love Marino. He was great. Phenomenal.
Okay, so when I think, if I close my eyes right now and I'm picturing Dan Marino and Matt Ryan, you put
I'm
it-
not comparing those two.
All you're comparing is that they're lacking rings. Correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Which I thought you were saying that was, you don't get to the Hall of Fame if you don't win the Super Bowl.
No, I never said that. I said, does Matt Ryan get that 17-yard sack deducted from his?
Of course. No, I understood the point.
My
Crystal
only
clear.
point being is
Crystal
any
clear.
football fan knows, right, as a quarterback in a big game, even in a JV game, get rid of the ball, do not take a sack.
Okay.
Now listen, the Avalanche was coming, the Patriots were coming back. But my point about Matt Ryan, he's always going to be remembered as that quarterback that got sacked in the Super Bowl.
I got you.
And
I got you.
They
We'll get to this.
But if they didn't kick that field goal without the sack, they win the game. And we were talking third quarter here.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay.
There are plays that turn games around and seasons end.
We're talking Hall of Fame, James.
Yeah. Okay. So listen, one other, like I said, what do you think about the Niners? Are these guys for real or are they not for real? I mean,
I think the Niners.
I know you're a big Garoppolo fan, and I like him too. I think he's got a lot of talent.
Yeah.
But they lost that game yesterday. I don't know. I'm on the fence.
Man, the Niners are 11-3. All right, so they're battling Seattle for obviously the West of the NFC.
Yeah.
Right, and it's not conclusive yet. But the Niners are trending. They've just been restocking their cupboard. John Lynch has done a great job.
No question about it.
Kyle Shanahan, most likely Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Most likely.
And I didn't put him up in that elite thing, and he's pretty good. I just wonder, can they get past Seattle? That's the question. I'm not 100% sure that they can.
Well, they're battling them. I
mean,
know.
if you're going to bet Russell Wilson versus Jimmy Garoppolo in a big game, who are you going to take?
Oh, Russell Wilson, of course.
I don't care where it is, home or on the
but
road.
I think the Niners have been irrelevant for, what?
6 years?
A decade, maybe.
No, they had a good team about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who, Tim Rattay when he was the quarterback?
What, for 9 minutes?
And then what, Blaine Gabbert?
Yeah,
Blaine Gabbert era?
Well, that's within the past 5 years, that kind of crap.
That's my point. So John Lynch has probably been
Hasn't
on the
been
job.
a decade, though.
John Lynch has been on the job for about 5 years.
No, not even.
Not
even.
To restore the cupboard, I think 5 years is probably...
Okay. Well, I think probably the last 3, maybe, but whatever. All right, so let's... we covered the NFL, and we're going to cover it...
No, we haven't covered the NFL, James. How about our New York Jets?
I thought we covered the NFL, and we want to bring these guys up? Go ahead.
They are members of the NFL.
Okay.
Are they not?
They are.
Okay.
Biggest media market in the country.
Right. So anyway, back to the Lamar Jackson MVP discussion. Thursday Night Football after we did our podcast. Sam Darnold, I'm a big fan.
I know you are.
You're not. But you know what? I think I'm coming back to like the middle here where...
I'm already in the middle. That's where I am now. I told you, he's not as bad as he's looked, and he's not as good as he's looked.
I think
that's a middle of the road guy.
I think that's kind of where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And apparently him and Gase actually had their first little...
To do
on the sideline.
Is that right?
That is correct.
Huh.
But listen, I mean, Baltimore Ravens, the Jets are playing the Ravens Thursday night.
They got schooled.
You saw the Jets for what they are, and you saw the Ravens for what you are.
But the Jets aren't, they're a horrible team. New York's been a terrible year for the New York fan in football. Both teams are horrible.
Absolutely.
Both teams are horrible.
But my point is, Sam Darnold. Yes, yay or nay?
Nay for me.
Really?
Yes.
Meaning what? After his rookie contract, the Jets are going to look for a new quarterback?
I don't know. They turn on him. 1 week he's great, 1 week he's not. I don't know. These crazy Jet fans. I told you from draft day, I wasn't in that camp where would they take him? Number 2, right? And then the Giants took.
Yeah, Jets traded up
right.
to number 2.
Right. So, I'm just not a big Darnold fan at this point. I mean, he's playing on a terrible team, but.
Well, the good news is Adam Gase should be back for year 2.
I think he will be back.
Oh, he's definitely coming back.
I think Shermer will not be back.
Well, they won. If they win again.
Oh, no. No.
You know what I said?
Not even.
No,
not even.
You know what I said a week ago? I think he survives.
I used to think that about 6 weeks ago. Now I think for sure he's done. I think he's done.
The coordinators are going to get whacked.
The whole bunch of them are, I think. But listen, before we move on from the NFL, there was one thing, and you and I bring this up with HBO and Showtime, these sports documentaries.
Yeah.
There's a great thing on HBO Sports, Belichick and Saban, The Art of Coaching. It's great.
It is fantastic, actually.
And listen, I know there's a lot of people that don't like the Patriots and Belichick and Saban because they're hotheads, but this is quality
Must-see
sports
TV.
documentation. It's awesome.
There's no question. I actually watched it about 3 nights ago. And
I had actually forgotten that Nick Saban was his coordinator in Cleveland for 4 years.
and what? You forgot he wore glasses?
Exactly. Really, those are
Right. But really, we highly recommend this. You know, we've done this in the past when we see a real good documentary.
This is worth
Belichick
watching.
and Saban
Worth watching.
on HBO. If you're a football fan, you don't like I don't care if you don't like Belichick. I don't care if you don't like Saban. I don't care if you don't like
No, it's a
the
great.
Cleveland Browns, the New York Giants, the New England Patriots, Michigan State, Alabama, LSU.
No, this is a behind the curtains look at.
These
you know,
are absolutely the 2 best coaches living on this planet.
I agree.
And you know what? The friendship that they have, I think was
Goes back 40 years.
Yeah, I thought that was very poignant.
Oh, it was a great story, though. The whole
Yeah,
thing.
it's great.
Let's not give it away, but the whole thing with Belichick's father as a coach and so forth, and how they met, it's
All right,
phenomenal.
so let's don't give away. Belichick won 6 Super Bowls.
And Saban won 6. He's got 6 of his own.
Yeah, so don't watch it.
All right.
You know, in case you need to know who
No,
wins
there's more-
LSU versus.
There's more to it than that. All right, so listen, do we want to touch base on the college thing? There hasn't been a lot. The Army-Navy game was kind of big.
Well, I'm glad you
I
brought
took
that
Army.
up, being that was the only show in town.
Yeah.
You know what? One of my winners of all week was the Middies. And now
They
listen,
crushed them.
I have a great friend of mine who played for Army, and he was a lineman in the late '90s. And I tell you what, you know, we were texting back and forth, and he knows about sports with mono and everything. And he texted me from Philadelphia. He goes, "So who are you picking?" And I said, "Jeff, I got to be objective. I got to go with the Middies here. And I know it's a rivalry game and everything else."
And I took the Black Knights.
Yeah,
I took
listen,
the Black
I was
Knights.
torn. I was thinking that Army might show up.
But how about the performance by that Navy quarterback?
Malcolm Perry.
300 and change,
Five.
305 yards. Unbelievable.
305, folks, for a quarterback. Number 10, Malcolm Perry.
I know.
And I'm the biggest Roger Staubach fan. I'm going to say that Roger never ran for 305.
Absolutely. But he's still the greatest quarterback in Navy history.
There is no question. 1963 Heisman Trophy winner. 5 years, Navy
Two-time
fan.
Super Bowl winner.
So I know
Yep.
a lot of fans love Roger Staubach. But we
Absolutely.
wanted to acknowledge this kid, Malcolm Perry,
was
Army
great.
Navy.
That was the game, you know, and there was some, you know, Division II, Division III, and I don't know if I brought this up last time. Mount Union, who's been a solid, you know,
Hey, I've heard of them.
right.
What have they won? The Division III championship?
Every year for the past
What, like 18 out of the last 21 years?
But they
or
got
something?
knocked out.
Oh, good.
They got knocked out. So, and listen, before we step away from college football, of course, there was a Heisman Trophy presentation the other night, and I give my kudos to my partner here, who was on Joe Burrow's bandwagon all year round.
That is right.
And I was on the Jalen Hurts, and they finished 1-2. It was great.
They did.
But I got to concede that Burrow deserved it. He won it.
Not only did he win it running away. In fact, he won the most highly voted discrepancy between number 1 and number 2.
Yeah.
And well deserved. And I'm not sitting here.
He's got to finish the job, though.
Yeah,
He's got to finish the job.
I'm not patting myself on the back here. I just thought Joe Burrow, when I saw him, and again, week 3, week 4, of course anybody can win the Heisman, but this kid, man, he had some year.
He sure did.
Some year, in fact, that he set the SEC record for, and we're talking, folks, SEC. 48 touchdown passes.
I know.
I'm sure the record, and I'm laughing about this, back in the day was, Eddie LeBaron or something with 13.
Well, and he's only the second LSU player to win the Heisman Trophy, and I believe that was Billy Cannon.
I've heard of Billy Cannon.
Yeah.
In fact, being a Dallas Cowboy fan,
of course,
his son Billy Cannon Jr., who was a first-round draft pick, Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
Yeah, Billy got a neck injury early on in his career, couldn't continue.
You know what was interesting, though? I saw, that Joe Burrow was the oldest Heisman Trophy winner since 2004, and I immediately go, had to be Chris Wanke, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't he 29 at the time or something?
Wanke is now in 55 and older community.
Right, AARP member like me,
No, but no doubt. But, all kidding aside, Joe Burrow.
Great year.
His completion percentage, it dipped, okay? Dipped a little bit. 77.8. That is unheard of. 48 touchdown passes.
Great year.
4,000 plus yards. Well deserving of the Heisman Trophy. But to your point, Jimbo, they got to win the national championship.
Yeah, that'll make his career just...
And before we do our preview show, I'm telling you right now, Clemson beats Ohio State and LSU.
Beats Oklahoma.
Absolutely.
Of course, I agree.
And
I'm not ready to make my decision on,
No, either am I.
The championship
It's going to be
game,
a great game, though.
It is. It is.
So that wraps up our college football.
Okay, so listen. Our next segment is sponsored by Lynch Motors of Manchester, Connecticut.
Heard of them.
Loyal sponsor of
Sell
the
cars up
show.
there?
Real quick, because I've gotten some feedback and some emails from some fans saying, we don't talk about the NBA that much. And I said, well... It's the early in the season. It's college football. It's the NFL. So, couple of things, real quick. The NBA.
Yeah.
New York there's really nothing even to talk about, right? I mean, the Knicks. Okay, they made the change, but until Steve Mills goes, that's not a story for me. But there was a rumor that they wanted to hire this guy who's the GM at Toronto. Yeah. And it would cost them 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, Masira, Juji,
is that what we really?
A jury, whatever.
That's going to leaving.
I'm not Canadian, so
but leaving 2 first-round picks for a general manager. Does that tell you what your general manager who's currently there is worth?
Well, I tell you what, this guy,
they're horrible.
Well,
they're horrible.
You know what? This guy's resume is pretty good, actually.
No, I'm not dismissing but is he worth 2 number 1 picks?
He's worth probably a number 1 because the state of the New York Knicks is so bad.
Right, and he probably takes DeRozan or somebody with him,
I don't know what he's going to do.
Exactly.
But there's got to be somebody.
All right. I'm not going to dwell on the NBA, but, the Knicks are a mess, and the Lakers, we talked about this, the commissioner of the NBA, LeBron James, wanted Anthony Davis. He's got Anthony Davis, and now they can't lose.
Yeah, they were off to a great start. Anthony Davis had a 50-plus night, I think, within the week. That's a 1-2 punch. I'm not putting a lot...
Does anybody else on the Lakers touch the ball besides these 2 guys?
My point is that,
2-on-5?
Will they have home court advantage in the playoffs? Of course they will. But I'm not willing to concede the title to the LA Lakers.
Okay.
Not happening.
I'm not conceding that either. I'm just saying it's kind of funny that you and I talked about it, that they were a horrible basketball team, and then he goes, I want the best big man in the game. And he went and got him.
Well, let's get back to the New York Knicks. In the state of the New York Knicks, it's only been 20 plus years of infidelity.
Okay, but we've covered that.
What have we covered?
that they're horrible, and it's been
Why
this
are
way
they
forever.
horrible? Why are they horrible?
I think it's because they don't have any leadership. The general manager and these Mills and
Exactly.
all these guys. It's like, what are you doing?
Thank you.
What are you doing?
Did you mention the name Steve Mills for the 2 times?
I did.
How this guy still has a job, I don't get it. This guy is in charge for literally
Not that long. 20?
15
Okay.
minimum.
Okay.
15.
I got you.
Hires, fires, and this, that, and the other thing.
And what's so funny though about New York basketball though, like the Brooklyn Nets were supposed to, they signed these big. Does Kyrie Irving want to play? Didn't we talk about whether or not this guy wants to actually play basketball?
He's hurt right now. The shoulder's bothering him.
And he wanted out of Boston so bad. They loved this guy, but he just didn't play.
He was a Net fan growing up in
Oh
New
my
Jersey.
God. It's driving me crazy. This NBA thing, we're going to have to cover it on another show.
So, folks, at Sports with Mono and Mono, we're going to do our damn best to
Yes.
cover the NBA.
All right, listen. Let's change partners and dance for a minute before we wrap up our show. Right? We've talked about football and we talk about baseball and basketball. What non-contact sport happened over the week? It was the President's Cup. And it's kind of funny because I know there's been a lot of people that have gotten feedback, how great it was and how great Tiger Woods was and so forth. It's not the Ryder Cup. I'm not even sure I get what the President's Cup
Patrick
is.
Reed's caddy, his brother-in-law, he's a beast, Stanley.
Yeah, that's the honeymooners reference
Right?
there.
He got a little confrontation with the fan.
But I'm
Gotcha.
gonna say though,
But at the end of the day,
Tiger Woods.
Tiger,
Is this guy ready to come back and win 2 majors this year? It's starting to look like that.
I'm
Starting to look like
not
it.
going to
Steve.
say that.
Okay, I'm actually saying this may be his final hurrah, and
Listen, he's got 15 majors, okay? And I'm not diminishing Tiger Woods whatsoever.
no, of
But
course
for
not.
him to win 3 more, let alone 4 to break Jack's record.
I'm not saying he's going to break Jack's record. I'm saying the next year.
Okay.
He's going to put everything he has and let his back go out 1 year.
Okay.
I think he may win 2 majors this year.
Nah, I'm not going there.
I'm going to say that.
You know why? Because we've talked
On the record.
But we've talked about the young guns, the too many. Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson.
But they're all not playing their top of the game. The Justin Thomas
get it.
has been slumping. DeChambeau hasn't been seen in a while.
But
And
Tiger is
I know this
is
is-
the equivalent of Sam Snead right now.
I know, and I told you the young guns, and I agree with you. I'm glad you brought that up. The Fowlers, because I think finally he's going to win his major this year, and I said that last year. And he's in the top 5. He's knocking on
Folks,
the door.
can you imagine if Fowler wins?
Huh.
The bump in ratings we're getting on this one.
All right, well, we'll come. But I just wanted to recognize that because our fan Mike in Naples, Florida, just says watching the President's Cup is great, and I go, but it's not the Ryder Cup.
It's
right?
not, and actually, I was at President's Cup 2 years ago in Liberty National in Jersey City. Was it great? Was it compelling? Yeah. Not the Ryder Cup.
No, it's
not a major.
I know.
You know, I've been to Wingfoot for the Davis Love Rainbow in '98. I've been Phil Mickelson winning at Baltusrol.
I saw Jack
The
Nicklaus get
PGA.
a birdie at Baltusrol.
I've been at Shinnecock. I've seen Retief Goosen win.
Walked with Freddie Couples for 15
Exactly.
holes. Walked with
Totally.
Ernie Els at Oakmont.
So my point, and I think the show's point here is it a good event? Yeah.
But is it golf season?
In Royal Melbourne?
But is it golf season? No. Start of the golf season is usually in January in Hawaii.
But we're Americans, and any time an American can crush the European Union,
I got you.
we're all good with that.
We're good. So listen, we're wrapping up here, and a couple of quick things though. Steve, you got anything you want to say to our Oakland fans. I know you lost a dear friend this week.
Yeah, so I'm going to lead with a very personal note, and a loyal listener of our show, Tony Diers, Diers, and you can look him up, Tony, Tony, Oakland, New Jersey, where I live. Tony passed away this week suddenly, unfortunately, and I coached his son Brody in baseball and et cetera, et cetera. But an outpouring from the community for a good person. He's the type of guy that did anything for anybody.
Awesome.
And, I'm still kind of busted up, to be honest. But I wanted to mention that to the family. Linda and Brody, Linda's wife and Brody, his son, and he's got some kids from a, past life, that type of thing. But I just wanted to say, R.I.P. Tony Diers. Thank you for listening to our shows. You'll be missed.
I've met him. He was a great guy, and it's a loss. This is the kind of things that you don't expect, but it happens. And
unfortunately, we have some notable passings because sports with mono and mono is. We always want to acknowledge good people when they pass.
That's right.
Whether it's a sports icon or whatever it is, or somebody that's close to the show. Danny Aiello. Yeah. Actor the past week. 86 years young. Right? Moonstruck, Do the Right Thing would probably be his two most famous roles, but we've seen him in 1,000.
How about this? I know our loyal listeners who watch The Godfather 1 and 2, greatest two movies of all time. Right. He was in it.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
And I'm not going to give it away, so some of you sports fans out there, send an email.
Hey, sports fans, a little Bo Meacham from Great Santini right there.
Right, which was called The Ace because it was released on HBO before the movie theater.
And the book, Pat Conroy. People, come on.
But please send an email to sportswithmonoandmono@gmail.com if you know what movie I'm talking about and what role that Danny Aiello played in The Godfather.
That's a good one.
Right?
But also, Danny Aiello, also want to mention Michael Kay, because Michael Kay, Yankee broadcaster, literally blood uncle, brother of Michael Kay's mother. But Danny Aiello, I think we all knew.
Did some good stuff.
Right?
Actually.
And then there's two others, actually, I wanted to bring up. So, remember the movie Radio?
Yes, with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Correct.
I believe,
who played the title role in Radio. Ed Harris.
Ed Harris was in it, yeah.
Radio passed away, R.I.P.
Okay.
And then, you know what? We have a very loyal listener, Jim Walsh, out of Long Island, whose boys, at least one boy I know went to Boston College. I went to Boston University, so I'm familiar with that. But the Ice Bucket Challenge, right? The kid finally passed.
It was originated by a guy named Pete Freitas.
Yes.
And he was a Boston College guy.
The inspiration for it. He passed away in R.I.P.
From Lou Gehrig's disease,
yeah,
which is, as we've seen, it's just a horrible way.
It's the worst. So,
but he really turned the nation's eyes to something that's been going on since when? 1948?
Well, I hope it continues in his memory. So R.I.P.
Good for him.
Okay.
And listen, before we sign off, just wanted to shout out to another one of our sponsors, D. Filippi's Bakery in Monticello, New York. Great baked goods, and if you're ever up in the Catskills, which I guess that's called the Catskills, right?
Yeah.
Monticello, part of the Catskills.
Okay. Watch Dirty Dancing.
Right. But listen, guys, thanks for joining us. And Steve, it's good banter, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about, next show, and look forward to doing a college football preview show with us.
Absolutely.
So.
The bowl season is upon us.
You bet. You want to throw out some ridiculous bowl or something,
My own standby is the Pool and Weed Eater.
All right, the Pool and Weed Eater Bowl is coming up. But thanks for joining us, folks, and we'll talk to you next week. And like I said, Steve, if they have emails and you guys want to talk to us, we're always happy to hear from you.
Sportswithmono@gmail.com. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Bye, gut. Be good.